I am Laxman Lonkar, lecturer in Electronics and Electronics Department from Government Polytechnic, Washington. Today we will see what are the basic content and what are the syllabus of control system and PLC. The MSBTE has approved this syllabus, and the syllabus, the code of this subject is 22531. Name of subject is control system and PLC. So actually, this subject having two parts. First is control systems. There are 3 chapters of control systems, and last 2 chapters, total 5 chapters. There are 3 chapters of control system, and last 2 chapters of PLC. Here is PLC. PLC means programming language controller. So we'll first see one by one. First point is rationally. So what do you mean by rationally? Rationally means actually it's nothing but the set of reasons which is based on, or what kind of syllabus is this, what are the objectives of syllabus, what is the importance of this syllabus in the industries or in future. So in competency, so here is the competency. What is competency? Maintain, you can see here, maintain electronic automated system in process and manufacturing industries. Means actually what kind of automation system, what kind of automation systems which is present in automation industries, and how you will maintain all these automated systems in the industry, and how, first of all, you should have to know the basic details and how to operate this system, automated system in this industry, so you can maintain that systems. So we can take an example of few automated industries like Mitsubishi Electrical, then Schneider, ABB, Rockwell, Siemens. These are the automation industries in which they are manufacturing automation. Their product is automated automation, like automation systems. Like we can take an example of elevators. So Mitsubishi's main focus on their elevators. So actually they are using in this automation, the maximum part they are using is PLC. So PLC is a very important topic, I would say, in this subject. Also control system is very important, but PLC also important, because all the automated industries, when you go out after the completion of this course for the job purposes, so PLC is important. PLC SCADA we will see in detail. So PLC is important because all automation industry using right now uses this PLC. PLC means programming language controller. Actually, what it is in, there are actually 2 to 3 languages basically, but like ladder, then structural one, and then functional one. Actually, ladder one is very simple than to structure and function, but ladder will take more memory to store the program. Structure will less memory to store the program. So we'll see in that 4th and 5th chapter. So third point is course outcome. So in course outcome, actually there is word output and outcomes. Means everyone knows that what is output, but it is one different word like outcomes. So if you know, I will take an example to understand what is meant by outcomes. Basically, what is meant by outcomes? Outcomes is nothing but the achievement. What you will achieve after something, after doing some process, after doing some completion of some objective. What will achieve? That is your output. That is your outcomes. And what are the contributions you are providing to achieve that outcomes? That is your output, right? So I will take an example. Suppose you would like to become an IS officer. So become an IS officer. That is your achievement. And what are the prerequisites you should have to complete to achieve your outcome? That is your object. That is your output. Like first of all, you should have to prepare yourself. That is your output. Then you should have to clear pre-exam. That is your output. Then you should have to clear main exam. That is your output. Then you should have to clear interviews. That is your output. So these all output are contributing to achieving your IS officer. That is mean you're becoming IS officer. That is your achievement, and you are achieving that outcomes, right? So these are the 5 outcomes of this course. So control system and PLC, there are 5 in it. Already I told you. So for each chapter there is one separate outcome, right? So for 5 chapters there are 5 outcomes. So first of all, we will see first outcome, that is A outcome. A's outcome is for first chapter, B outcome is for second chapter, C is for third chapter, and so on. So what is first outcome? First outcome is identify different types of control system, right? So if you would like to identify different types of control system, what are the prerequisites for that? You should have to know what is meant by control system, right? How it will differ from, or what are the types, basic types of control system, what are the different types of control system, what control, one control system can differ from another, or what are the basic concept of this control system. Then you can know the different types of control system, right? So in first chapter you will be able to learn what are the control system, what are their basic types, and how the transfer function, all these things, or we have to calculate, and what are the block reduction techniques in this first chapter. Then you should surely know which kind of control system is this, right? So after learning this concept, you will get to know what are the different types of control system. So likewise, same as second chapter, the outcome of second chapter. What is the outcome of second chapter? Determine the stability of control system. What is mean by stability? Actually, stability means for bonded input, your output should be bonded, or if for zero, if you are applying some zero input to any control system, your output should be zero. That means your stability. That means you can calculate your stability to determine all these things. So we will learn in detail in second chapter. What is third outcome? Third outcome is test performance of various types of control. Actually, there are mainly 3 in this syllabus. MSBTE has included only 3 controllers for this subject. In this third chapter, there are 3 controllers. One is PI, second is P, I, and D. There are 3 controllers. So there are the combination of also we are using, that is PID controller, and we will see the performance of that controllers in the third chapter. Last 2 chapters I already told you. Fourth and fifth there are on PLC. So in fourth chapter, what is course outcome of fourth chapter? Maintain various component of PLC based on best process control system. Means which kind of or parts of PLC, or how you will maintain the parts of PLC. Like there are some input devices, there are some output devices, there are some CPUs, main block of there are some memory part of PLCs. You should have to maintain, or you should have ability to maintain all these component of PLC in your process industry or manufacturing industry. Then last one is maintain PLC based process control system. Means actually what kind of control system they are using PLC, you should have to maintain, you should have to use that PLC, you should have to process, and we should have to handle all these PLC based control systems. So we will learn in that 5th chapter. We will move forward. The 4th point is teaching and examination schemes. Actually this is also important part, because whenever you start study, you should have to understand what are the subject content, what is the mark system, marking system. You should know for which chapter how much marks is allotted, likewise. So see this line, actually the left part of this line, or I would say this part, teaching scheme. So this is for your teacher, so you are not bothered about it, so you can neglect this. And right part, that means this part, examination schemes, is for students. So students should have keep in your mind there are 2 types of this examination scheme. One is theory and one is practical. So in theory again there are 2 subtypes. One is EAC and second one is PA. So EAC means what is end semester examination, means you should have to attend this examination by in theory, means you should have to write your paper. So this paper I have 3 hours. In 3 hours, the maximum marks for 70 marks of this paper for 3 hours, and minimum marks is for 28. The passing marks is 28. you should have to 28 marks for passing, and second part is PA, that is progressive assessment. So progressive assessment is for 30 marks. So here is the detail of 30 marks. 10 marks for your micro project, here you can see, and 20 marks for your average of 2 tests. Means for sessional 1 and sessional 2, the average of 2 tests that will become up out of 20, and 10 mark for your micro project. So this 70 and 30 is equal to 100 marks. 100 marks of this subject, out of 100 you should have to 40 marks for passing. Then another part is practical. In the practical, again the same pattern, ESA and PA. ESA means end semester examination. That means you should have to, there is some internal and external examination. So external will come and they will take your vivas and all this process. So these are of 25 marks and 10 marks for passing criteria. And PA, that means progressive assessment. When you perform your practical in classes, in practical hours, and when you submit your manuals, when you write up your write up work, these are for the 25 marks. This topic is for 25 marks. Minimum mark is 10. So this 25 and this 25 is equal to the 50. The practical part is of 50 for 50 marks. Out of this, you should have to 20 marks for passing criteria. So total 100 and this 50. Total this topic, this subject is of 150 marks. So students have to prepare or plan their self for study, how to which part is important, and practical part also important. So next one is we'll see the practical objectives. For practical outcome. In practical outcome, there are 16 practical. You can see over here. This is the count of 16. So 16 practical, total 16 practical, and in this practical, actually I'm not going in detail, like test, performance, step response of RC, step response of RLC. So this is for first chapter, error detector, angular decomposition. So on every chapter there are some practicals like PD and PID. These are on third chapter. Then functional temperature control. These are on third chapter. So this is the list of practical. Then we'll see next topic, like understanding theory and components. So these are the unit first. What is unit first? This is basic control system. The name of unit first is basic control and system. So in this chapter, there are again unit outcomes, right? Means what are the outcomes of this unit? So like I will take an example of first outcome. Explain with sketch and working on given type of control system. Means whatever the given system is, this you should have to get the ability to explain that control system and to sketch and working to sketch the block diagram of that control system. So this is the first objective you should have to learn, or you should have to provide your explanation for this control system. So what is the second objective? So second unit objective, like compare the given control system based on their given parameter. Means suppose I already told you, like there are some different control system, open loop control system or closed loop system. You should have to provide or you should have to compare that systems based on parameter. So remaining part, this is first unit. Remaining part we will see in next lecture. Thank you.